Ella, Northampton, May 18, 2008. Ella felt tired and heavy after her argument with her husband, David, and her daughter, Jeanette. Her heart was full of tension, and she couldn't focus on reading Sweet Blasphemy. It felt like a pot of boiling emotions had suddenly opened, letting out old pain and new anger. Sadly, she was the one who had lifted that lid herself, by calling her daughter's boyfriend, Scott, and asking him not to marry Jeanette. Ella believed she was doing the right thing. She thought she was protecting her daughter from a big mistake. When Scott answered the phone, he sounded polite but surprised. Ella tried to speak calmly, saying she liked him but felt he was too young to marry. She asked him to forget about marriage for now and to keep their talk a secret. Scott went silent for a moment. Then he said softly, "Mrs. Rubinstein, I don't think you understand. Jeanette and I love each other." His words made Ella sigh. People, she thought, were so blind when they were in love. They believed love could solve everything, but life was not that simple. Still, she didn't say that aloud. Instead, she said gently, "You are young, Scott. Life is long. Someday you might love someone else." Scott replied, "Maybe. But couldn't the same happen to you, Mrs. Rubinstein? You too might fall in love again." His words shocked her, and she laughed awkwardly. "I'm a married woman," Ella said quickly. "Marriage is a lifelong choice, not a game." But Scott didn't agree. Their talk became tense and painful, full of frustration and misunderstanding. When Ella hung up, she felt shaken inside. As always, when she felt upset, she went to the kitchen to cook. Half an hour later, the phone rang. It was David, her husband. His voice was angry and cold. "Tell me you didn't call Scott," he said. "He told Jeanette everything. She's very upset and doesn't want to see you. She's staying with her friends." Then he added, "And honestly, I don't blame her." 2. That night, David didn't come home either. He sent a short text saying there was an emergency but gave no details. This was strange for him. He had cheated before, maybe flirted or even had affairs, but he always came home for dinner. No matter what happened, they always sat at the same table. Tonight, even that small comfort was gone. Ella blamed herself. Guilt was something she knew very well. She sat at the table with her twins, Avi and Orly. They didn't understand what was going on. Avi wanted pizza, and Orly refused to eat. But Ella made them finish their meal. On the outside, she looked calm, but inside she felt empty and sad. After dinner, Ella sat alone in the quiet kitchen. The food she had cooked looked meaningless. She felt useless and lonely. At almost 40, she wondered what she had done with her life. She had a family, but she didn't feel loved. She had so much love to give, yet no one truly needed it. Her eyes went to the book Sweet Blasphemy lying on the table. She thought about Shams of Tabriz, the wise, mysterious man in the story. It would be nice to have someone like him around, she whispered. Then she smiled, imagining Shams as a handsome man with black hair, wearing a leather jacket, riding a red motorcycle. She laughed at the image, a modern Sufi on a Harley-Davidson. But then she grew quiet again. What would Shams say if he looked into her heart? Would he understand why she felt so alone, even surrounded by family? Would he see how much love she still carried inside? Sitting there in the dim light, Ella finally faced the truth. She had spent years pretending she was strong and satisfied. But deep inside, she longed for something real, something wild, honest, and full of love. For the first time in many years, Ella realized she still wanted to love and to be loved. Shams, and in outside Samarkand, March 1242. It was a cold night in Samarkand. In the small inn, more than a dozen tired travelers slept in silence, each lost in their own dreams. I stepped carefully over their hands and feet and reached my bedroll. The smell of sweat and mold filled the air. Lying in the dark, I thought about my journey and searched for signs from God that I might have missed during the day. Since childhood, I had seen visions and heard voices that others could not. I often spoke to God, and He spoke back to me. Sometimes, I felt as light as a feather and rose to the highest skies. Other times, I sank deep into the earth, hidden among the roots and the soil. I often forgot to eat or drink, but these things never frightened me. I only learned to keep them secret, because people feared what they did not understand. The first person who doubted me was my father. When I was 10, I told him I could see my guardian angel every day. He didn't believe me. While teaching me to build a wooden chest, he said sharply, "You have a wild imagination, my son. Keep such talk to yourself." Our neighbors already thought I was strange and warned their children to stay away. My father looked at me sadly. "Why can't you accept that you are no more special than we are?" he asked. Every child takes after his parents. That day, I realized something deep. I loved my parents, but I was different from them. So I said, "Father, I am not like the others. You are chickens who fear the water, but I am a duck who must swim. The ocean is my home." My words shocked him. His eyes grew dark and distant. "If this is how you speak to your father," he said, "how will you speak to your enemies?" From that moment, our hearts began to drift apart. My visions became stronger as I grew older, and though I felt sorry for worrying my parents, I could not stop them. Soon, I left home forever and began my journey as a wandering dervish. Since then, I have never slept in the same place twice or eaten from the same bowl 2 days in a row. I travel from one land to another, meeting strangers and learning from every soul. I have walked through forests, deserts, and crowded cities. I have seen joy and tragedy, kindness and cruelty. Nothing surprises me anymore, because I have seen both heaven and hell on this earth. I have eaten with kings and beggars, prayed with monks and danced with dervishes. I have studied with scholars and listened to hermits who lived alone in caves. From Persia to Arabia, I have searched for one thing only, the truth of God, the secret that lives in the heart of love. My home is everywhere, because God is everywhere. Through the years, I began to collect lessons from all that I saw and felt. These lessons became what I call the 40 Rules of Love. They are not written in any book, they live inside my soul. One of these rules says, "The path to truth is a journey of the heart, not the mind. Let your heart be your guide, not your head. Only by knowing your ego can you know God." It took me years to shape all 40 rules. Now that I have finished, I feel that my time in this world may be ending soon. I am not afraid of death. What troubles me is leaving without sharing my knowledge. So many words are trapped inside me, waiting to be given to someone who will understand, not a student, not a teacher, but a true companion. That night, I prayed in silence. "O God," I whispered, "I have walked the world seeking you in every face. I have stayed away from the proud and chosen the company of the poor and lonely. Now I am full, my heart overflows. Please, send me someone who can receive your message." Suddenly, the dark room filled with a bright, golden light. The sleeping travelers turned blue in its glow. The air smelled of fresh lilies and jasmine, as if spring had entered the room. Then I heard the soft voice of my guardian angel, "Go to Baghdad." I asked, "What is waiting for me there?" The angel replied, "You asked for a companion, and a companion you shall find. In Baghdad, you will meet the one who will guide you." My eyes filled with tears. I now knew that my journey was leading me to a great meeting, a meeting written by fate itself. I could already see the man in my vision, calm eyes, full of sadness and wisdom. He was the one I was meant to find, and through him, my story would reach its end. In that moment, I knew that my life's purpose was about to unfold, and my destiny was waiting for me in Baghdad.